Of Theresa May cutting back on the amount of money going to West Midlands Police and all the big city police forces, we've seen a big drop in the number of police.
Je crois que ce sont des conservateurs qui sont responsables de cela parce qu'ils ont vraiment réduit le budget de Metropolitan Police ici, même ici aux régions de West Midlands.
And crime is now going up.
Et puis la criminalité, ça ne fait que grimper.
Street crime.
Dans la rue.
Knife crime.
Le couteau, les jeunes utilisent des couteaux.
Violent burglaries, particularly in this area.
Et puis les vols.
And drug dealing.
Et puis ils sont en train de vendre des drogues.
We need more police and police support officers out there on the street, making them safe, particularly for our older people.
Nous avions besoin vraiment que la police soit présente dans les rues pour stopper toutes les choses qui se déroulent dans les cités, surtout pour les drogues, les knives et puis la criminalité des jeunes.
Basically, the Conservative Party is not interested in areas such as this, in the inner city areas, the areas where people have a real struggle.
Pour lui, il pense que le conservateur ne prête pas beaucoup d'attention dans des quartiers pareils, là où il y a plus de concentration des immigrés, là où il y a aussi le hausse de la criminalité.
We know that these areas need that sort of money that they were getting under the last Labour government, that money put back, those resources put back into these areas to recreate these communities. People are working hard in order to ensure a good community for themselves, but they can't just do it by themselves.
Je pense que le conservateur doit vraiment éponger dans nos budgets beaucoup d'argent pour qu'on puisse faire face à ces délits. Otherwise, ça va encore grimper.
Something like the Ellis Centre here does terrific work for the community.
C'est vraiment terrible de travailler dans cette communauté.
But they need that help. That's why an incoming Labour government will give priority to these areas, priority to the people here, in order to ensure that they get the decent life that they deserve.
Ils pensent qu'ils doivent beaucoup investir dans des quartiers pareils, dans des communautés pareilles, pour que les gens puissent avoir une vie décente.
And that really is why I'm asking for your support, not just now but in the future, for a Labour government that works with and cares for our people here.
Voilà pourquoi nous vous demandons en tant que le leader et le candidat de Labour, je vous demande de nous voter massivement, pas seulement dans cette élection, mais même dans les élections qui vont suivre, dans les élections municipales. Ils veulent bien votre participation pour qu'ils puissent faire face à tous nos problèmes.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup. Maintenant, nous sommes à l'étape des questions et réponses. Si vous avez... on va prendre au moins 4 personnes dans la salle pour qu'on puisse laisser aussi le temps à d'autres leaders de parler, s'il vous plaît. Si vous avez une question, vous soulevez la main et puis... Vous pouvez même venir même ici, ça aussi, ça ne vous dérange pas.
Yeah, so basically, according to the news and stuff, I obviously now believe that and know that austerity, for instance, in this country has been caused by the Conservative Party. However, like looking around the news and stuff like that, the defense that I keep on hearing from the Conservative is that under your government, just before the financial crisis, the Labour Party was overspending when it came to their debt. So I basically want to know, like, you know, what's your reaction to that? And also, sorry, I've got another question. I'm a recent graduate, and I find myself as well, like many other graduates, with lots of debt. And I know for a fact that according to John McDonald's, he did say that correct me if I'm wrong, but he was saying that he is planning to remove and scrap away the student loan debts. So my question is, like, you know, if that's the case, then how, like, would that mean that the taxpayers would have to pay for that? And would that also lead to, like, an increase of taxes in this country? So, yeah.
Right. Well, let's go sort of back.
Ok, je peux. Chris, sa première question était que quand l'élève a été au pouvoir 10 ans passés, le pays était vraiment endetté. On avait un déficit budgétaire. Maintenant, elle se demande comment, si on vous vote, comment vous allez renflouer encore les caisses de l'État pour qu'on puisse faire face à toutes les promesses qu'il est en train de nous dire. Et puis sa deuxième question, en tant que elle a fini ses études, elle est graduée dans Yeah. Donc maintenant, sa préoccupation est que elle a terminé l'université, mais elle est vraiment endettée. Et comment ils vont les aider à payer vos dettes?
Yeah, parce que John McCain, like, you know, one of their ministers, his promise is to remove the debt,
Okay.
like away. So.
Parce qu'un des candidats de Labour, John McCain, yeah, il a promis qu'il peut aider les étudiants à write off leurs dettes.
Okay. Let's start with the second one first.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that an enormous amount of the student debt isn't going to get paid off anyway.
Yeah.
Because people won't have paid it by the time that it ends. Secondly, this government sold on the student debt to finance houses who've then been allowed to put up the interest rate way above the rate, for example, at which government can borrow money. And so therefore that's actually exploiting people with their student debt. So on both of those, we'd be saving money anyway. And also we'd be encouraging people then to get those qualifications, to get into work where they'll be paying taxes. So I think all of that actually adds up and actually reduces the size of the problem quite considerably. Looking then to the national situation and the global financial crisis, it's been a wonderful selling job by the Conservatives, because essentially what happened, it was the global financial crisis that caused the increase in national debt and national expenditure, not the other way round. The global financial crisis started in the housing market in the United States and then affected the rest of the world. In fact, just before the global financial crisis, national debt, government debt in the United Kingdom as a percentage of national income was at a lower level than when we came in 1997. The government had in fact been enormously prudent and enormously effective because they'd grown the economy. It was a choice, a political choice of David Cameron and George Osborne politically to shrink the state, to overcut on government spending, and they prolonged the economic crisis when in fact we were on a path to actually recover from it. So people would have been in work, they'd have been paying taxes. It was a needless, unnecessary pain driven by political dogma. Sorry about that, it's a bit long.
No, it's all right. I'm going to try to summarize what you're
Okay.
saying. So pour lui, il dit que les conservateurs ils sont responsables. Il sait bien qu'il y avait eu la crise économique dans les années 1997, mais c'était plus ça puisse commencer au niveau des housing, au niveau de logement. Et puis ça bascule maintenant. Mais maintenant pour eux, ils traitent les problèmes, c'est comme si les problèmes commençaient du côté du peuple et c'est ça a eu des répercussions au niveau de logement. Voilà pourquoi, donc, même quand ils sont venus au pouvoir, Cameron et puis George Osborne, ils n'ont pas bien analysé les choses. Ils ont pensé que réduire le budget, ça va arranger les choses. Mais on arrive à comprendre maintenant que les choses ne font que s'empirer davantage.
Another question.
C'est mieux quand vous posez une question, vous vous présentez s'il vous plaît pour...
Introduce yourself.
Please, you introduce yourself and say...
Thank you. My name is Ian. The question that I need to ask you, you mentioned something regarding housing. I think it's another very big issue. There is a scheme, I'm not really quite sure whether it was introduced by Labour or it was introduced by the Conservative, which we call the voluntary to buy scheme. There were quite a people who were involved in this scheme, where people who have lived in properties that are either council or housing association. After having lived in that property for at least 3 or so years, you are entitled to buy that property. But the problem is, there are people or there are certain houses or housing associations where even if you've lived in that particular property, you don't qualify to buy on the pretext that if the housing association has no right to buy it to you or to sell it to you, then they can do something to help you into identifying another property or buying another property. But it looks like that's not working under Conservative. I'm not really quite sure whether if, let's say, Labour comes into power, they're going to do something about that kind of an issue.
Well, let me address this.
La question c'est sur les maisons sociales, qu'après avoir vécu dans une maison de conseil ou des housing associations, vous avez le droit d'acheter cette maison. Mais il semble que pour certaines housing associations, on vous dit que vous ne pouvez pas acheter la maison, plutôt on peut vous aider à pouvoir identifier une autre maison à acheter. Donc ça ne fonctionne pas. Comment les Labour pourront faire en sorte que les rights to buy deviennent une obligation?
Let me deal with one of what I see as one of the really big problems with right to buy.
Le grand problème pour le droit d'acheter une maison sociale,
More than half of the properties that have been sold to sitting tenants
plus de la moitié de la maison qui ont été vendues aux locataires
have then been sold on to people who don't intend to live there but are private landlords.
Ces maisons ont été vendues non pas aux locataires qui étaient là pour y rester, mais aux gens qui étaient là pour qu'ils puissent commencer à faire louer ces maisons à d'autres personnes.
They're charging rents that are well above the level of rents that the council charge.
Et ils sont en train de demander un taux de loyer supérieur à celui de maisons sociales.
And that money is being made up very often in housing benefit.
Et le loyer, l'argent du loyer vient souvent de bénéfices de l'État.
And therefore we're losing community sense, we're losing community property. They'd have been much better, quite frankly, building